Hi everyone. Let me just go live on Instagram. Good morning, everyone. Let's see. I don't know if it's too dark. If you're in here, just say hi. Let me know where you are logged in from. I'm just going to wait for a few people to trickle in before I start. How's everybody's Wednesday going? Today is the last day of March. Can you guys believe it? I'm excited. April, I mentioned that April is my favorite month because, my birthday is on April 4th and my daughter's birthday is on April 3rd. So, it's usually a very celebratory month for us. Good morning, Melissa from New Jersey. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, so let me introduce myself. My name is Ayesha Chidolue. I'm an immigration attorney in Orlando area, Florida. I represent clients all over the United States and internationally with their immigration matter, as long as it pertains to family immigration, Vawa conditional removals. My phone number is 407-995-6567. So for those of you on Instagram, you can find my phone number in my profile. And then for those of you on YouTube and Facebook, you can see my phone number right there on the ticker. Oh, hi, Danny Q on Instagram. I'm excited to meet you too. I actually don't know who you are based on your name. I'm assuming that's not your real name, but if we're meeting on Monday, then I'm excited too. Okay, so I have a good topic for you guys today. So today I want to talk about who qualifies for VAWA, like what types of people qualify for VAWA. Hi, Timmy Diggy from Florida on Facebook. How are you doing? So feel free, guys, to, while I'm talking, put your questions in there. When I do these lives, it's your opportunity to ask questions to an attorney, to an immigration attorney. If there are questions that I can answer online, I definitely have no problem answering them for you. So definitely put your questions and I'll try to answer them, once I finish talking about it. You guys know that I talk about VAWA a lot and, domestic violence and abuse. And, I don't know how many of you are in pop culture, entertainment, I don't know if you guys know Sweetie and Quavo. I don't know if you guys saw what, they posted yesterday and there was like a debate about whether or not he physically pushed her into the elevator. If you guys don't know who those are, you can Google them. They're musicians. Whether or not he grabbed her and tossed her into the elevator or whether or not it was a friendly tussle. And that is what, and so, it was interesting to see how people were so far off on both sides, where some people were like, he wasn't being abusive, he was defending himself, because she, was attacking him. And other people are like, no, he grabbed her and threw her in and she was injured and he didn't want to help her. I'm sure you guys are wondering, well, how does this relate to VAWA? The reason why I want to give that example is because I want to show that what somebody might perceive culturally as abuse or aggression in one culture might not be what somebody else in another culture perceives as abuse or aggression, but it's nobody's place to tell somebody else that they've not experienced extreme cruelty or that they've not experienced abuse if they feel that they have. So, but it was interesting to see that. And, a lot of times, in the immigrant community, I'm an immigrant myself, I'm from Nigeria. I know there are many things that, our culture endorses or are okay with or, throw a blind eye to that, it's not okay or it's not necessarily okay. I'll give examples, coming from Nigeria, there are many times where, You can find somebody dealing with physical violence in their marriage and they say, oh, just go work things out with your spouse, right? Fix it. It's just marital problems. But, that's not okay. And if that was in America, you would qualify for VAWA if your spouse is being physically violent. So anyway, so let me get off that topic for a second and just talk about who qualifies for VAWA. So first of all, VAWA stands for Violence Against Women's Act. But I don't want you to be confused or discouraged by the word women in it, because it doesn't apply to only women. It also applies to men. It also applies to children. So these are the categories of people that apply. If you are a man or a woman and you're married to a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, whether or not it's a same-sex marriage or an opposite-sex marriage, if they're being extremely cruel to you or abusive or toxic, where it affects you emotionally, where it affects you mentally, where it affects you psychologically, where it affects you intimately, or financially, of course, physically, you qualify to self-petition by yourself to get a 10-year green card if you don't have a green card already. If you are a child of a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, you also qualify. If you are a stepchild of a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, and that person has been abusive to you or to your mother or, or your father, depending on who the spouse is that's abusive, you also qualify. For children that are stepchildren, you want to make sure that the marriage was entered into before you were 18. You also want to make sure that you file for your VAWA self-petition before you turn 21. If you already turned 21 and you haven't filed yet, you have a small window. So you have a window between 21 and 25. If you can show that the reason why you haven't filed is due to the abuse you experienced, in that regard, you can file. Again, let me, just for all of those tuning in, please feel free to start asking your questions in the comment box, both on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. When I finish talking, I will definitely go through all of them and answer your questions. So please don't be shy, because I know you all send me messages in my DM, asking me questions. So this is your time to ask your questions. So the other category is parents of U.S. citizens. So you see the difference here. So with the other one, it's green card holders and U.S. citizens. But for parents to qualify for VAWA, the child has to be a U.S. citizen. And the child has to be 21, and, in that regard, when it comes to parents, a lot of times, parents struggle, if you have a bad kid that's, some kids are really aggressive, like towards their parents, like cursing them out, blaming them for their lives, skipping school, giving their parents anxiety, fear of what their child is going to do. Is this child going to commit suicide? Is this child going to do something to us? Is this child so angry? I'm just giving you like random examples. So if you're in that situation, you would also qualify, to self-petition by yourselves. So, all these three major categories are people that qualify. Again, it doesn't matter if you're a woman. It doesn't matter if you're a man. It doesn't matter if the violence that occurred is not physical, because, somebody can mind, let me not use a curse word here, but, somebody can really mess you up, mentally and emotionally, or extremely cruel to you or abandon you with no food, no water, no insurance, no money. Those are things that, can really affect somebody. So, if you're in that situation and, going back to what I initially talked about, for those who tune in, bringing up like the Quavos of the world and the Sweeties of the world, where somebody else is telling you that what they're doing to you is not abusive because, maybe you swung first. Obviously, that video is subject to interpretation. We don't know what happened. There was no voice in the video, so I can't assess what happened to the video. But it's worth speaking to somebody. If you feel that you're experiencing something like that, to know what you qualify for, if you want to speak to me, you can certainly speak to me, and I will evaluate you and let you know what you qualify for or not. So those are who qualify for it. So I'm gonna just take some questions. Let's see what we've got on Instagram. So this person says, my husband applied for his citizenship about 9 months ago, but has not been called for his biometrics. My question is, can he go ahead and file for my adjustment of status while his citizenship is pending? So Adachuku on Instagram. So the answer is really that it depends. So if he hasn't filed your I-130, I don't know if you're here in the United States or outside of the United States or what your situation is, but if you're here in the United States and you have overstayed your visa, as I'm sure you know, because he's not a citizen, you're not going to be able to adjust here, but he can file the I-130 petition for you so that by the time they approve that, hopefully they would have approved his naturalization, and then he can just do the adjustment of status for you here, okay? So let's see, who's this? Good morning, my sister. Thank you for over the Zoom call yesterday. I appreciate you, real good. You know what my godfather said about you was right. You're a very brilliant lawyer, Steve. But thank you very much. I appreciate it. So this person said, I'm married to a U.S. citizen, but my 10-year-old is not his son. But my husband has been in his life for 5 years. Can he give him status? Absolutely. So if you're married to a U.S. citizen, your husband can file for your son. He doesn't have to even adopt him. He can file for your son because you guys got married before your son turned 18. So the question for you is, do you have status already? Because he can file for both of you at the same time, and then it also depends on how long you guys have been married, whether or not you're going to get a 10-year green card versus you said 5 years. Well, you said he's been in the life for 5 years, but you don't necessarily say whether or not you're married or not. But yeah, your husband can file for your son, because you guys got married before he turned 18. Okay, so hi Fumi on Facebook. She says, good morning. If you're denied on your marriage and you're filing for VAWA, but it was rewritten in the mail that you have to leave the city in 33 days. If you don't leave and the day stated in your mail, you're still in the process of... It's really, really hard for me to understand what you just typed, but I'm going to make an assumption based on what you're typing, that you're basically saying that you're talking about your denial letter, right? So your denial letter has a standard, we call them boilerplate, standard language where it says, you've been denied. Our records show that you've been in the country. You're not in the country with authorization, so you need to leave the country, or you'll be sent a notice to appear in front of an immigration judge, right? So that's probably what you're talking about and what you received. So if you receive that, you can still file your valid petition, and if you file your valid petition, then that will be pending. And the odds are you will probably not receive a notice to appear because USCIS will have jurisdiction over your case. Now, if you've received a notice to appear, you can still file. That's when I say notice to appear, I mean notice to appear in front of an immigration judge. You can still file your valid petition. It's just that your process is going to be a little bit different, where you adjudicate, or different people process your cases. One part of your case is processed with an immigration judge, one part is processed with USCIS. But as long as you qualify, I can show proof that you qualify, you should still be able to stay here. Okay, so let's see here. So Brittany says, did I hear you say there's an age limit to file for yourself? In terms of VAWA, yes. No, well, in terms of VAWA, if you're claiming as a child, there's no age limit if you're claiming as a spouse or a parent. But if you as a child is claiming that your U.S. citizen or green card parent is abusive, yes, there is an age limit. You want to do it before you turn 21. But if you turn 21, between 21 to right before you turn 25, that's considered a late filing. If you do it then, you want to give an explanation as to why you're filing late. And if you're able to as if the late filing is because of the abuse, that you didn't have the opportunity to do it, then you can do it then. Okay. Hi, good morning. Is there a new wait time for Vawa case? This is Tamika on Facebook. There's no new wait time. The time is usually about 24 months. Honestly, before the pandemic, it used to be like 18 to 24 months, but honestly, right now we're seeing like 24 months, like 2 years to 2.5 years is what we're seeing really realistically as a wait time. The good thing is that if you do qualify for a work permit and you get a work permit or travel authorization, that you're going to be able to continue to renew that while your case is pending. So at least you can work, at least you can travel if you need to travel. And then also if you get a prima facie determination letter, you can always have that's automatically extended, while your case is pending. Okay. Based on pending I-360 and 585, what location can I file my EAD? I'm from Maryland. Hi, Walex. So if you are filing your I-360 based on VAWA, you'll be filing your employment authorization documents in Vermont. Let's see. Ojo says, what's happening to the network? I'm not sure. Can you guys see me? Let's see. Can everybody see me on Instagram, on Facebook? My IG handle is at Chidolue Law. So it's CHIDOLUE Law. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So if you have a work permit expiring soon, what are your options? Hi, Deanna. How are you? I just realized that was Deanna. What are your options if no sponsor or looking for a sponsor? There are not very many options if you don't have, well, I guess the question is, it really depends on what your work permit is for, because usually a work permit is tied to a pending petition. So if you have a work permit tied to a pending petition, as long as your petition is pending, you can continue to renew it. Now, if you're saying that you have no sponsor because whoever was petitioning from you revoked their petition or removed their petition, you're not going to have any option but to either find another petitioner to sponsor you. Okay. Rivati says, hey there, good morning. Just wanted to say thanks for all the information about the laws. You're really amazing. Oh, thank you so much. Okay, let's see. So Mari says, can I make an appointment to talk with you? Of course you can. My phone number is 407-995-6567. I know that someone's going to pin that. Let me pin that in there. I don't really know how to do this pins on the post, but this is my number. So my number is on there. If you want to call us, you can definitely call us to talk to us. So somebody on Instagram says, marriage-based petition, what would happen if my spouse and I file in New York and move to another state as it relates to the interview? So you want to definitely update your address right away. So if you've moved, you want to update your address online. You can do it easily on USCIS if it's a marriage-based case. It's the AR11 form, because then that will tell them where your interview should be, and especially because you don't want to miss out on notices or things that they send to your old address. So do it right away. Someone says, can the travel documents I get from VAWA, would I be able to go to Jamaica and come back, or is it in-state travel? So you will be able to go to Jamaica and come back, only if, so this is the caveat, as long as you don't have any removal proceedings, any notice to appear, you didn't cross the border, you don't know if there's anything going on with you. But if you came into the country, with a visa, let me use an example, like a tourist visa, or whatever, and you get advanced parole travel authorization, you can go back to Jamaica, but I just want you to make sure that when you're going back to Jamaica, that you do not go for a long time. Make it a short trip. It should never be more than 30 days, just so that if they call you back for something or they call you for an interview, you're able to get back here. Obviously, hopefully the pandemic is letting up. Last year was an iffy year where, the borders closed and, you know, people got stuck. So you want to make sure that if you're going back to an international country, that, you know, there's no potential issues of the border closing and you being stuck there. But yes, you can travel. Okay, so this person says, I'm a new client of yours and your team is amazing so far. I'm very lucky to find you. Oh, thank you so much. You know, you guys on Facebook, you have all those names and aliases. So I have no idea who these people are, but I'm so excited that you're working with us and hopefully we'll get you some good results. Okay, so Audra says, I have my work permit. I want to file for Vawa because of my US wife is not cooperating. My work permit will expire in December 2021. You think if I go for Vawa, it won't affect my job? Absolutely not. It's not going to affect your job. So if you file for Vawa self-petition, you also get a work permit. So what happens is if you already have your permit from your marriage-based case, one of the things that we try to do is we try to intercept the petitions and ask for an abeyance, which basically means we're asking USCIS to merge the Vawa case with the I-485 that was filed from the marriage base and just remove the petitioner so that you become a self-petition. And then that way we'll continue with the work permit and you'll be able to renew it. Make sure, since your stuff is expiring December 2021, try and make sure that you try to renew that stuff or submit the application at least 120 days before expiration, just because they're taking a little bit of a long time. Okay, so let's see. Hey, Sandra. Sandra says, hi, good morning. I got my interview date in April. I cannot get a bank account with my husband because he owes the bank $6,000. What can I do? Can I go for the interview without it? Please tell me. So the question is, what else do you guys have, you know, to show that you have a bona fide marriage? So a bank account is not an end all be all. You know, I am of the opinion that when you go to these interviews, if you are facing that kind of challenge where your spouse owes money, you know, be honest. You know, I don't know if you guys have ever heard the phrase, you know, the lies build a tangled web. And as you keep on tangling, it gets worse and worse and you don't know how to recover from it. So if your husband cannot open a bank account because he owes money and that's legitimate, you just say that, you know, these are all the other things that we have to show we have a bona fide marriage, but we just cannot get a bank account because his name is in the bank system. They won't allow him to open a bank account. And then of course you might not be able to open a bank account if you don't have I don't know, maybe you have an SSN already because, you know, your interview is in April. So just be honest, look for all the other things. You have some great examples are, you know, of course, you know, utility bills together, leases, if the leases have your name, if you guys have like cell phone bills together, if you have car notes together, if you have, you know, social media posts together showing legitimacy of your marriage, if you have friends and family that can write affidavits confirming your marriage, if they're writing affidavits, even though it's not a requirement that they notarize because they can swear under penalty of perjury, if you can have them notarize it, the better for you. I would 100% recommend that. You know, WhatsApp messages between you guys showing both your phone numbers, showing, you know, your love, you know, any kind of celebrations, holidays, Christmas, where you guys celebrate together. You know, something I talk about all the time is when you send pictures to USCIS, you want to make sure that you're sending pictures not only of the two of you, but with other people. Okay, guys, hold on. Let me drink some water. So, you know, sometimes people will just, you know, give me pictures of them on their wedding day and like 5 different versions of them posing with the flowers, them giving a kiss, them posing with the veil, them not posing. Like, so that's wonderful. Congratulations on your marriage. But there's an expectation that everybody has a picture from their wedding day. Okay. So those pictures don't hold weight as much as pictures from every other time other than your wedding day. You know, you want to take varied pictures. You know, you don't want to take pictures where you have pictures in the same outfit all the entire time, right? You know, where you guys look exactly the same, you're in the exact same places, and you want other people in your pictures, you know, and why would you want that? Because you're showing that your marriage is public, you know, and your friends and family know that your marriage is legitimate. Because, you know, if there are never anybody in your pictures, it's just you and your husband, me, myself, and I all the time, it's like, well, why are you hiding that? You know, why are you hiding your marriage? So you want to make sure that, you know, you're posting, you're sending pictures of your marriage. So hopefully that helps you, Sandra. Good luck. Okay, this person says, good morning. What if you've been waiting 3 years now and your stuff has expired? What next if they ask you to come in to do biometrics, but for a work card and you finish to work cards and you've been waiting? Well, Roxanne, it depends on what you've been waiting for. What kind of petition have you been waiting for? Because, the timeline is different for all petitions. So clarifying that will be helpful. Tamika says, I love you so much, girl. If I was not with another lawyer, I would definitely use you, but you're great. But anyone I know doing this, I'll make them get to you for sure. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I wish you all the best with your own case, okay? Okay, so Aisha says, Oja says, Aisha, who do we address the affidavit letters and family and friends to? So who you address it to is dependent on what kind of application that you're filing. So if you're filing a marriage-based case, you'll be addressing it to the address that you're submitting your petition, right? If you're doing a Vawa petition, you'll be addressing it to the address that you're doing it. For example, with Vawa, it will be sent to Vermont, right, to the humanitarian unit. So it's just dependent on, if you're working with a lawyer, your lawyers usually will give you the address for your friends and your family to use. So this Mai says, I have an interview, but my son's passport is expired. Will that be a problem? No, it won't be a problem. But also still just renew his passport, okay? But that shouldn't be a problem. Okay, so let me see whether, hi Sylvie, good morning. Let me see if there are any other questions that I might have missed. Instagram, you guys are very quiet today. Let's see. So Mauricia says, this is a good question. Can a person who is a felon get a marriage-based green card for his wife? I'm assuming that you're asking if the U.S. citizen is a felon. So the answer is it depends. It really depends because if you have a felony related to a child, or pedophilia or child abuse, and things like that, there's a law that basically doesn't support them petitioning for a marriage-based green card, especially when there's a chance that there might be a minor in the household, either now or in the future. So if it's that kind of felony, your odds or the favors are against you unless you can really show it's been years and years ago and there's a lot of rehabilitation. But it is an obstacle you're going to have to overcome. Now, if there are other felonies, and stuff like that, it's not really the U.S. citizens' crimes they're looking at. It is the green card holders. So, but for you, you want to make sure that you're going in with your eye open because, my fellow immigrants, sometimes we're in this situation where you just overlook certain things and somebody can have a rap sheet and be extremely dangerous to you. So you want to make sure that, this is something that you're certain of and that you want to enter this marriage and that person is rehabilitated. Okay. Okay. So let's see. All right, Sandra, you said we have a card together and cell phone bills. We went to Target to take out a Target card and BJ's. We took photos of my daughter and his kids. Okay, so just take all those things, like anything basically you acquired after you submitted your application. Take them with you to the interview. Take as many stuff as you can to the interview. Before your interview, make sure you and your husband sit down and go over questions. Go over what you know about each other. Go over all of your children's birthdays. Go over all your children's names. Go over where you met. Go over who proposed. Go over if a ring was given. Go over your wedding guests. I'm just giving you guys examples of types of questions that could be answered. A lot of times you may not get those questions, but it's really critical to prepare. Have you ever heard the phrase of being over-prepared? Be over-prepared that when you leave that interview, you're like, oh, that was easy, So I'm a big fan of over-preparing. Okay, so let's see what else. Do the kids do separate green card interviews from the parents? Well, it really depends. It really depends on if the applications were filed at the same time, how old the children are. With the pandemic, I'll tell you that I've had quite a few of my children clients where their interviews have been waived and they just got their green cards once they got sent to the medical and stuff. Okay, so Roxanne says, waiting for the green card. My husband had passed before I got the interview date. And after doing the interview, they said they would review the case and get back to me. It's been 3 years now. Oh my goodness. Roxanne, I'm so sorry to hear that. That's really sad. So before you got the interview date, did you send them the death certificate so they could convert you to a widower? Or you didn't? Roxanne, I would suggest a consultation because I have so many follow-up questions and I don't want you to put your personal business out there. So you can definitely give me a consult. Let's see what's going on because I don't know what you filed. And there are different things that, people potentially file when, you're in a situation like that. But I'm so sorry to hear about your husband. This person, Fatu, said, I'm supposed to file for my citizenship in September. Can I file with my son who will be 16 for his as well, though he's still waiting for his green card? Fatu, so what I would suggest is that you just file for yourself. Okay, you said you're filing in September. Let me see, your son is 16. The reason why is because if your son gets his green card before he turns 18, yours is going to really be a timeline thing. It's going to be a timeline thing. You can file for his citizenship for him until, he gets his green card, but he can derive citizenship from you. He can derive citizenship from you so that it's not a naturalization, it's a certificate of citizenship that he'll get if you become a U.S. citizen before he turns 18. Okay, and he already has his green card. So it's a little bit complicated. So it's really going to be a strategy and a timeline thing. And how long it will take for you to get your citizenship. Most citizenships take about 7 to 12 months right now. So if you get that 17, then you can do his derivation of citizenship. Okay. 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 So Sandra says, also I'm filing for my kids. One is back home and needs. I think you're saying he's 8 and my daughter is 16. She's here with me in the US. So I got the receipt for my son. He's in Jamaica and I got 2 letters from USCIS for my daughter. Should I bring my birth certificate with me? Not sure I understand the question, but take everything. And your interview notice should have everything that you should take. Everything that you submit, you should really take. Because if there is a chance that they've lost something or they don't have a copy of something, you don't want them to delay your interview or delay your approval because they're waiting for you to submit that stuff. So just take everything. Take your birth certificates of yourself, your children's birth certificate, your husband's proof of U.S. citizenship and everything. Take everything. Okay. Okay, guys. Let's see what else here before I jump off. Okay. I think I covered all the questions. That was fun. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Fatu, you're welcome. Thank you for tuning in and your questions. I love answering those questions. I will see you guys next week. I hope you have a great day. Bye. Okay, wait, let me answer this one question. Before I leave. Okay. I'm new here. Hi, thanks for joining. Make sure you like the page and share it with your followers or your friends or whatever. You said, my question is, what if you get your 2-year green card and your husband decides to go away without you knowing? Can you still get your 10-year green card? Yeah. So, if you have a 2-year green card that, based on marriage, usually in 2 years' time, as I'm sure you have to remove the conditions on your green card. Sometimes marriages don't work. And if marriages don't work, as long as you can show proof that you entered into your marriage in good faith and that you had a bona fide legitimate marriage, you can request a waiver of filing jointly. So if you and your husband get divorced, or if you and your wife get divorced, or you say your husband, if you and your spouse get divorced, as long as you provide a divorce decree and proof that in the time you were married, your marriage was legitimate, you can request a waiver. The other option is if you can show that your spouse was extremely cruel to you or abusive to you, you can remove the conditions without your spouse, but you have to show one of those two things to get it. I mean, there's a third option, which is called extreme hardship. Honestly, I don't talk about extreme hardship often just because it's really, really difficult to show that it will be extremely hard for you if you go back to your home country, and stuff like that. So if it's based on divorce or based on extreme cruelty, you can certainly remove the conditions on your green card. Just make sure you document and keep all proof showing that you had a legitimate marriage for when that time comes. Okay. Okay, guys. So Sandra says, I was asked, should I take my daughter's birth certificate and my son's birth certificate with me to the interview? Honestly, if the interview is not for your children, it's not necessary, but sure, if you want to, you can definitely take them because you never know what they're going to ask you for, right? All right, guys. All right, have a good one. I'll see you guys next Wednesday.